Zoom late last week. I feel like we're becoming tight, and you haven't even played a match yet in the Big Ten.
I'm here for it. Let's do it. Let's just keep getting to know each other better.
Absolutely. I think that is the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. You also grew up in the Chicago suburbs, about probably 20, 25 minutes from where I live now. Your mom still coaches at Carthage, just over the border in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So how surreal is it for you to come back here knowing that you're coaching an Oregon team that's now part of the Big Ten?
Yeah, I didn't tell anybody I'd be here right now, so this might, ruin the surprise, and I might get some angry texts. But it was a quick trip, But no, it's amazing to be able to come back and see family. And again, I've been gone for about 20 years, so it's cool to show them what I've been doing,
So you don't think now there's a big Ulmer contingent hopping in the car and trying to fight traffic on the way down
they
the Kennedy?
They may be trying to figure out the address right now.
Before you guys take off?
Yeah, we'll see what traffic's like, but they might hit us on the way.
If they're trying to get through the traffic on the Kennedy and the Edens, don't worry, they're not going to get here in time.
Oh, that's not a bad idea, because then maybe we don't have to Uber to the airport. Maybe that could be the moment.
See, this is the great thinking that's got you guys to back-to-back Elite Eights the last couple of years. The great thing, listen, about those trips is that nobody can take those banners away. It's something that you've accomplished. Usually the bad news means that you had a great nucleus and you lose some of that nucleus. So how different will the team that we see in 2024 look from the one that we saw the last couple of years?
Well, we graduated 7, and all 7 got pro contracts. They all play professionally, which is amazing, and I'm so happy for them. But yeah, what could that do to, this next year's group? But we had, there was days when, the other side of practice was winning. When we would scrimmage. And, we have a really dynamic group that I think has just been chomping at the bit, waiting for their turn. And then we added a few transfers that will come in and I think give us a little bit more seniority there, so hopefully blend. And then Daley McClellan comes back and Mimi Collier, so from who played, most minutes. So I think, yeah, there's a lot to be discovered, but I think the pieces are there, so it's just, can this coach not screw it up and put it together,
Certainly a lot to be discovered for you, for the other 3 newcomers, for the 14 teams that were here before August 2nd as well, because everything becomes a little bit different. How do you try to convince your team or sell to your team that, yes, this is a big-time challenge and it is different, but it's a fantastic opportunity?
I don't think I've had to, and I guess we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But, they know what this is, and I think that's why they want to come to Oregon. Even before, like, we've been trying to win championships, and the people that come to Oregon, they want to come to be their best. That doesn't change, and this only enhances, those opportunities for them. So, I think they knew what they were getting into when they decided to come to Oregon, and now I think it's just, we just raised the level even more. So I think everybody's just ready to get going, and yeah, we're a little bit of guinea pigs this year, but I think we're excited to do that and have this opportunity.
I think you played about as much Big Ten opposition as anybody not in this league a year ago. Played 5 matches against the Big Ten. You ended up 3-2. 2 of those matches were in the NCAA tournament. Great win against Purdue before the loss to Wisconsin to end the year. And I've been asking a lot of the coaches, especially the West Coast coaches, the question that has been discussed about, is there a big difference in the style of play from what was Pac-12 volleyball to what is Big Ten volleyball? Where do you stand on that?
Well, playing Wisconsin, playing Nebraska, which, I feel like we played them in the last few times in the tournament, they're bigger. Maybe the speed of the offense isn't as fast, but they're playing over the top of our block, which we don't see. Stanford would maybe do that for us with a few of their players, but Wisconsin's whole team was playing over the top of us, and that's something that we hadn't seen. And then Nebraska in 2018, when they eliminated us, they had Fecky, among others, that were doing the same thing. So I think that piece is a little different. So I do think there's some defensive tweaks that we're going to have to do, make in order to be, in order to be successful against teams at the very top, that are playing in Final Fours and winning championships. So I think that will be a good test for us. But volleyball's volleyball, but a little bit different style. The big thing for us is going to come down to executing our side. If we do that, we're going to be in every match, just like we have been for the last few years. But yeah, I think there is some change. There's a different side of physicality here, than consistently, and multiple teams, than what we've been used to.
How do you envision that maybe changing recruiting philosophy, whether it's traditional recruiting or whether it's into the transfer portal? And I know you've had success in the transfer portal, certainly at Oregon.
It wouldn't hurt us to get a little bit more size. Even though last year I think every one of our hitters was 6'3" or 6'4" or above. So it's not like we were small, but even then, we were smaller than the other teams. So I think, we keep doing what we're doing. It's working well. But just, again, for us to maybe take that next step, You know, we probably need a little bit more size, or you know, just be able to ball control a little bit more. And the other piece is like we're gonna have to be gritty. We're gonna have to fight. You know, it's definitely not David versus Goliath, but it's definitely you know, there's big time competition on the other side that's coming after you, and we have to be, you know, we have to want to get in those fights every night in the conference. And I think this group is going to look forward to that, and hopefully our recruiting continues to take us to student athletes that they want that. You know, they want to get in a great match and they want to go be the best that they can be. And luckily we've been able to do that, and hopefully that just continues. A
transfer could be an impact right away for you. Onye Ofoegbu, who I know last year took a red shirt after the transfer from Irvine, but was an honorable mention All-American during her career there. What do you expect from her? How do you expect her to kind of fit into the roster that she joins?
I don't think I've ever been so excited for volleyball fans to see a player. I mean, you know, people have seen her at Irvine, but probably not as big of a market, you know, as big of a stage. This is someone who I believe can be in the national team gym. She's at 11 feet, and with lightning fast arm, lightning speed, she can move all over the place. Great personality, and just like everybody's drawn to her, you know. So I'm so excited. I hope we control the ball well enough and we can just find ways to get her involved as much as possible. But I've never coached anybody like her. And I don't know if I've seen anybody on the other side like her. The closest comparison I have is Chiaka Ogbagu, who is with the national team right now. That would be the closest comparison. But I actually think Onye's a little bit higher than her. So I know I built her up, but I know she's ready for it.
Well, we're excited to watch. We're excited to listen, too. She'll be standing by in just a couple of minutes here chatting with
no
Elena
personality. I take it back.
None
She'll
whatsoever.
be really bland and no laugh, no smile.
Yeah, I think is she in here listening right now? Because I think the gauntlet has been tossed down. She knows what she's got to live up to now. Daley's also here. You mentioned her as the heartbeat of this team, and a player who is a senior outside, a native Oregonian. What does she mean to your team, not just from a production standpoint, but from that leadership standpoint in the room?
I think stability. You know, again, we have a lot of new parts, but I think Daley is someone that you can look at and you know that she's going to be there for you every day, and she's stable. And you know, if you ever have, you know, any doubts, any questions, any fear, like, she can put that down. She can put that to rest for you. I think as a teammate. I think that's what she can bring to the group. We have a lot of big personalities. You know, we need some people that will just kind of make sure we're going in the right direction. And I know that Daley can do that.
Matt, you've had so much success in your time there. Then again, you can look down the halls in the coaches' offices at Oregon, and every single coach that is sitting in those rooms has had unbelievable success. Rob Mullins and I talked in May. He described what it's been like to be the AD during the decade of the duck, as they call it, with every team seemingly winning at the highest of levels. What's the experience been like for you?
Yeah, my first year was 2014, and the first thing I went to was a football game, and that was Marcus Mariota winning the Heisman, and we were in the national championship game. And I said earlier, and Phil Knight's on the field. I'm like, okay, so this is what we're doing. This is what this is. But then, you know, being able to see the Triple Crown with track, you know, women's track, and to see Sabrina Ionescu and the women's team, and again, we could go through every sport. Everybody's had their moments, but just like these really insane, monumental moments that happen at Oregon, and that is just what we do at Oregon. Like, it's just, we are the best of the best, you know. And so again, to be in the best conference makes sense. But it's been a pretty awesome decade that I've been there too.
And I know when I heard Dan Lanning speak, by the way, so impressive, during Big Ten football media days, he was talking about the fact that, yes, Oregon is a national brand, but still tucked away a little bit in Eugene, and that the move to the Big Ten really gets to expose what this athletic department and what your program is to such a larger group of people. How excited are you to be able to do that and to bring this Midwest, and for you, your home, into their own living rooms to see what you guys are doing up in the Pacific Northwest?
Yeah, from a recruiting standpoint, I always said, if I can just get someone to campus, like, they're going to come. Like, how could you not want to go to Oregon once you actually see what this thing is about? But I just think more of America. I had never been to Oregon until my official visit, you know, to be an assistant coach. You know, I went up there and I was like, what is this place? And how have I not known about it? And I think I assume that's what a lot of people are going to feel when they come for the first time. But it really is, and especially if you're a sports fan. If you're a sports fan, like, it is just something to behold. And I'm excited for just fans of other programs to be able to come. I'm excited for the other teams, other coaches that haven't been there yet to see it, because they're going to really enjoy it.
I know there's no such thing really as time off for summers anymore in major college sports, but you're officially back into it shortly. after you leave here. So for you and this team, before you get ready for a really challenging non-con, it's Pitt, right, to start things off, one of the best teams in the nation for the past 5-10 years. What do you and the staff want to make sure you have dotted and buttoned up before you get set for match 1?
We're going to go to Sun River. We're going to do a little bit of team bonding as a group. I think that'll be important. Again, new faces. Make sure everybody's on the same page with what we're up against and what we're going to be doing. So I think that will be important for us. We haven't really done that before, but I think it's the right time to do that. And then just to get in the gym, and I think just for everybody to understand the style of which we play. How quickly can we get everybody on the same page, so that we have really good rhythm by the time that we face Pittsburgh. And I think, every coach, you're trying to figure out the rhythm of your team, and that's what we're tasked with over the next couple of weeks. But I think it's going to be a fun couple of weeks. I'm really looking forward to it.
I think coaches are also trying to figure out, and we'll finish here, the scheduling and what you do in the non-con with this league. Do you now shorten that? Do you try not to schedule your non-con until as late as possible, knowing what you have, especially travel-wise, for the 4 West Coast schools inside a league with 18 teams?
Yeah, I mean, this year we tried to stay more regional, than we have, just because until we know really what this thing's about travel-wise, just to make sure that we can make that adjustment and adapt. But you really can't wait that long, because if you want the matches that that are going to set you up for your resume, at the end of the year, you got to go out and find those matches. So I don't know how long we can wait, but I think we found a really good blend for this year of really tough competition, but also not going too far away, because we know we're going to have a few more trips this year. So I think we did what we had to do, and now we just got to go play our best.
All right. And speaking of those trips, remember, you promised me last time we talked, when you come back to Chicago and you're taking the team on the culinary tours,
you're coming,
that I'm on the bus.
Yeah. Did you send me your number?
I'm going to get that done after today. I've been prepping for this interview. I haven't had time.
You've been busy. Okay.
Yeah, we've been a little bit busy. Matt, awesome to catch up again.
Thanks. Yeah,
look forward to watching you guys this year.
Thanks.
Talked about that schedule. You can take a look at it right now. I wasn't lying when I said Pitt's very early. It's August 30th. Oregon State, never easy. That's a regional game, always important when you talk about recruiting as well. That's in late September. And then you see some of the highlights on the Big Ten schedule. You have road trips to Penn State and Wisconsin, home matches against USC, Washington, and Nebraska, among others. All right, let's get to those players. Daley, Onye, you know what has been promised by your head coach. Elena, Holly, let's see if they deliver.
Thanks so much, Rick. Holly and I are joined by Daley McClellan and Onye Ofoegbu. Welcome to the Big Ten. Welcome to Big Ten Media Days. We're so excited to have you both here today. Can't wait to get going with our chat. But first, I would love to hear about just what you felt like when you learned you were joining the Big Ten and kind of some excitement to be joining this conference.
It's so crazy. It's so exciting, though, because we know volleyball is such a big thing in this conference. And it's just so much more, celebrated, which I love. And volleyball is, growing so much. And that just makes me really excited for my senior year. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Same thing. For my last season, I'm honestly just, really, really excited that we get to be in the Big Ten. That first day when we learned about it, I was happy. I know a lot of people were, about the travel, but I think it's going to be worth it.
Mm-hmm. Daley, lots of new faces on your team this year. Your coach talked about you as the stable influencer. What's your new role like after graduating 7 players?
Yeah, well, I've been here for 3 years. I got a lot of experience. I've played with a lot of different people. And like Onye said earlier, we have a lot of different people coming in this year. And I know that we're just going to mesh well. And so just focusing on our culture and what we want to be and what we want other teams to see in us, that's going to be very important. So just kind of practicing that throughout the season.
Of those 7 players that graduate, a lot of your vocal leaders, who are your vocal leaders now? Are you one of them?
I am. I think everyone is now, and everyone has to step up and be a part of it to make this work. But I think that's what we're going to be practicing as we get in the gym and this preseason. So everyone's going to have to step up.
Onye, your coach talked about you and how excited he is to see you compete this season. High expectations. He's trained and coached a lot of talented players, but he thinks you're going to do some amazing things. What are you looking forward to after having to sit and watch all last year?
I'm just excited to be on the court, to be honest. This is my last college season, so I don't want to set too much expectations on maybe numbers. I'm more so excited to just be on the court with my team and just finally finish out my college career.
You got to spend last season competing against a very good starting team. What did you learn from those veterans?
I learned a lot, especially watching Carson and Kara in the middle. It was a lot to learn, and just like seeing the new like level and speed that we're playing at. So I'm excited for that.
You graduated a lot of key players from last season, of course. Daley, we just heard a little bit about what you think your role is going to be in the gym this year. But Onye, what do you think your role is going to be with some new faces on the squad and stepping into a bigger role?
Yeah, I think we have a young team, and this is the first time I've ever been the oldest on a team, so that's kind of crazy. So I think my role would just be like maybe try to follow Daley's lead and just be stable, just try to be stable for them.
How familiar are you guys with Big Ten volleyball?
I'm a fan of Big Ten volleyball.
Big fan. Like we love watching just like during season and when we're traveling. We just love watching just like random games, and we're just a huge fan of Big Ten. So
that says a lot, right? You weren't even
now
in this conference,
so.
and now you're part of it.
Yeah.
Any venues you're looking forward to competing in?
Wisconsin.
Yes, Wisconsin for sure. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we can't wait to watch you guys play this season, and I will be having that match circled on my calendar for sure. I'm sure you guys do as well. Give us a little bit of a look inside of your gym. If we were to walk into Oregon Volleyball's gym, what does it look like? What's your culture like inside the gym?
Yeah. I think everyone is just super happy to be there. Like, I know everyone wants to work so hard, and we love competing in that gym. Like, it's so competitive. Like, and there's no A and B side. Like, sides are beating each other. Like, any given day, it's just so competitive. So I think it's going to be a really big thing for us to grow that this season. You
had a bunch of leaders last year. Do you think they left that Oregon culture in a better place? And are you guys ready to take it to the next level?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Obviously, Oregon Volleyball is a very successful program, back-to-back Elite Eights. What are the keys going into this season with kind of a new look Oregon Volleyball? What have your main focuses been in the gym this spring and summer to prepare yourself for the season?
I think a big focus for us is just doing your job. Everyone has their job on the court, and whether it's on the bench, on the court, doesn't matter. You're doing your job, and that's how we get the job done. So, yeah.
And how do you define your roles? Is that from your coach, from your teammates? How do you define your role on the team?
Both, yeah. Communication-wise as well. Yeah.
We've talked about culture. What does your culture look like? Do you have pillars? Do you have a motto that you guys keep reverting back to?
I think right now we're just mostly a high energy team, so we like to use that energy for good and like use it to motivate each other. And also a big thing for us is just accountability. Like, you know, we all have our own roles on the team, so it helps to trust each other that each other is like, you know, doing their roles.
What do you guys like to do off the court?
I feel like we eat out a lot.
We go out to eat a lot.
We try a lot of
food
spots.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Good, you'll have to give us the tips for Eugene.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Any favorites?
Wingstop.
It's a classic.
Okay.
That's a classic one. What's your favorite part about playing for Coach Ulmer? We just heard him talk to Rick Pizzo a little bit, but would love to hear from you guys having a couple years under your belt now. What's your favorite part of being on his team?
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Okay. I would say when I first stepped into this program as a freshman, I just immediately felt welcomed. And I immediately felt like I was a part of the family. Like, we went to dinner my freshman year at Matt's place, and we were playing with his kids, we were playing games. Like, it just felt like I was supposed to belong there, so, yeah.
I was gonna say one thing that I really enjoy about playing for Matt is he does not try to change you. He recruits you for who you are, and then you play as who you are, which is kind of different than some coaches. And I really enjoy that because I feel like I get to be myself on this team, and like I don't feel like any of my teammates are pressured to like fit a mold when you're like working with Matt. So that's really nice.
What excites you the most about these new players on the floor for Oregon?
They're obviously very skilled, and I just know I'm just so excited for us to all mesh together. And it's going to be super great. I think we have some great personalities too, great leaders. So yeah, when all of that comes together, I'm going to be super excited for it.
You guys might not know this, but what does this Sun River bonding event look like?
It's going to be all of us, the entire team and staff, in an Airbnb.
One house.
With like a million rooms, and we have a lot of fun stuff planned. Hopefully we'll do karaoke.
Oh, are you a karaoke pro?
Yeah. Oh, am I a karaoke bro?
Yeah.
Something like that.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Promiscuous. Promiscuous girl.
Do it.
Okay, we won't make you sing it now, but if you guys do sing it, we will want to get the video so we can listen in on that. One last question. What makes playing at Oregon Volleyball so special? Just being an Oregon student athlete. It can be academic-wise, the culture, environment, or just playing on this team. What's your favorite part of being an Oregon student athlete?
I like our fans. I think we have a huge sports culture at Oregon, so it's really nice to like feel supported by like our fans, and like we know that there's people that like care, which is great.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. We can't wait to watch you play this season. Welcome to the Big Ten, and enjoy the rest of your day at Big Ten Media Days.
Thank you so much.
Thank